friends and have known each other for over 30. Our community is so much better for the fact that you have served. The program that you initiated that has grown, the nurse practitioner program, which initially was a small part-time program, which has now grown and grown to a situation where we follow up on people who have emergency calls on a regular basis. The fact that you started that program and shepherded in all of the changes to what it is now, including our homeless outreach program, is a tribute to you. The fact that we are going to continue those programs under the leadership of our fire chief and our deputy fire chief will be a sustaining program credited to you. Two of the things that I most remember are the two measures that were passed by a majority of the voters. One, unfortunately, is part of why we are seeing both you and Councilmember Bossy leaving, which is the term limits. That limits a person to 3 terms over their lifetime. The other one was our revenue protection plan, where what we did was, in case the county or any other regional entity was going to raise the sales tax, we wanted to make sure that that sales tax would stay in the city of Beverly Hills. So we preemptively passed a measure that would guard that 3/4 of a cent, and it would come to the city of Beverly Hills if, and only if, there was a general tax increase. There's so much that we've done. I'm not going to go through all of the list. I do want to get a little personal, and we joke about you putting people to sleep because you're an anesthesiologist.
Thank you for clarifying.
And the impact you had on my family, because now I have a family member who can put us to sleep because he is an anesthesiologist. So I thank you for shepherding him through that. We are so much better because of both you and Lily over the years, and I am just honored to have served with you and to be able to call you my friend. Thank you. So I would now like to direct your attention to the screen for a video presentation which highlights Mayor Gold's terms as a retiring councilman.
The piece of advice that was given to me came from former Mayor Linda Brisbane. You're going to leave the office different than when you entered it.
Welcome, Councilmember Julian Gold,
Upon which I am about to enter. I'm honored to serve, humbled by your confidence, and ready to go to work. I have 20 years of public service. 20 years goes quickly. I would show up, I had my scrubs on, I'd rush into the office and change into a suit that I had in the closet, and when I was done with whatever it was, I would reverse the process in the back. I kind of wonder sometimes, how did I do it? It was a lot of juggling. Taking the oath of office was always for me a matter of great pride. I think that being able to represent the city, it always makes you feel good. Beverly Hills is a place everybody knows. What comes first is knowing your city. Be comfortable with your role as a council member and both have an understanding of and be competent at being an elected leader.
I am honored to stand here for you this evening as your mayor for the 3rd time.
And make good decisions for the community. One of my most important initiatives, and one that grew this year.
We are fortunate to have an amazing and growing nurse practitioner program.
So when it started, it was really aimed to take care of those folks with 911 call, didn't have to go to the hospital, needed more help than we could give them. and therefore landed up in the hospital because there's no alternative. We're reversing the trend and we're going back to house calls.
Hi, absolutely.
What we will do is review the census and all the 911 calls from the day before and follow up on those patients.
Alrighty, so we're gonna take over where the paramedics left off.
Our nurse practitioners are uniquely positioned to actually go and do medicine in patients' homes, see how they live, see what needs they have, to focus on that true holistic patient-centered care.
This is a model that's catching on all over the country. We created relationships with social workers, extended care facilities, primary care doctors, and with hospitals. And now all of a sudden, our nurse practitioner program becomes the tip of the spear for a community-based health system. The idea of people helping people was really to highlight some people who are doing that work, but perhaps were not known for it.
Tyler Cancer Research Foundation, Giving a Smile, the Dream Street Foundation, Dr. Susan Love Foundation, the Women's Fire Alliance, the Guiding Lifeline. George, you changed the world, and there are not many amongst us who could ever say that.
When people do good deeds for the right reason, sort of humanity at its best.
We're going to see how it's done and what they do. Come with me.
My mayor's minutes, for me, have been a lot of fun. Oh my God, just amazing. To showcase
Ready for me?
all businesses that people might not know.
Ask me to this race. Yeah,
These are beautifully done.
did a good job. I did okay. You're a budding bookbinder. I'm telling you that right now.
They've all come back to me afterwards and said, oh, loved it, it was great, we're driving business their way.
The time has come to see all of you for a special community checkup. Tell me what you're thinking about. Tell me what's on your mind.
I'm all ears for an hour-long session dedicated to listening to you.
Can kids my age help Beverly Hills in any way?
Stay involved. Stay engaged. One day you're going to be sitting here.
The next generation group, the next Beverly, is something that I created to get more influence from that age demographic.
And we have this vibrant younger generations that really need to be represented in our city government. They are our future, and they need to be involved in the planning of our future, and at the same time begin to understand what it is that's important to them and make sure that we're planning for the things that will help support what they need to do. Let's have a big block party, not only to advertise their presence, but to really recruit people to the mission and invite everybody and just get more and more people engaged.
At the end of the day, for 13 years, I tried to do a good job. That's really all we could want, to be honest with the public, and to leave our city at least slightly better than it was when I began. Beverly Hills has made significant strides into a more modern age that have really helped to maintain its position in the worlds of travel and luxury and dining. You live in a great city. Appreciate this town, appreciate what it's got. I just would thank the community for trusting me for as long as they did, for believing in my ability to do the right thing. That takes a lot of trust. I don't want anybody to think that I would ever take that for granted. I thank this community for decades of support.
I now invite Mayor Gold to address the community as retiring council member.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for trusting me. I too have not actually written out a speech here. This hopefully is not going to be too rambling. I do believe firmly
in the 3 B's: be sincere, be brief, and be seated. I suppose tonight we can add a 4th B, which is bye-bye. But there are a couple of things that are really, first off, this is an opportunity for me, first and foremost, to thank all of those who've helped me do what I've done and to make this the great city that it is. There is no city like this. And it's not because of any one individual or any 5 individuals, but it's really about you, the community, and about those who do the work to make it happen. I want to start with my wife. I know usually I end with my wife, but as I was thinking about this, 13 years. 13 years ago, we embarked on this journey. I don't think either of us had a clue what we were getting into. And I have to say, for all the craziness of campaigns, the ups and downs of council meetings, the late nights, the enormous packages, you know, the times foregone for other things, you never protested. You were always there. You were always supportive. Unconditional love. And for that, I love you. Thank you. I had a brief conversation with a cantor as I was getting ready this evening, and Cantor Weiss, and we talked briefly about 13 years. And the cantor said something to me that just resonated. She said, there's a lot of life, a lot of living in 13 years. So I think back to where I started. Both of my parents were here. They're not with us anymore. But on the other side, I have an amazing daughter and a son-in-law and 2 beautiful grandkids. And that really is the cycle of life that 13 years brings. But maybe you don't see it in real time, which is perhaps clearer in retrospect. 13 years is a long time. And so I'm very grateful for all of that and for having all of that in my life. I think it's important to note, to recognize Judy Fenn, who was the person who really started me down this path, and who you may or may not know has been ailing but is recovering, thankfully. Judy was who got me involved in politics. She did with many others. She helped me get elected on multiple occasions. I'm thankful to her. I don't think she'll be upset if I tell you that on the evening of the first election, the ballots had not yet come in. And it was, it was hard. It was a hard campaign. And Judy looked at me, and just out of the blue, without flinching, she said to me, I think you're going to lose. Thank you, Judy. And we have so many friends who've come with us along this trip. I know sometimes people say, well, okay, enough. But we really do appreciate you putting up with the craziness that is what we do. And along the way, we have to recognize, as Lily has said, and others, the great team. We have our current senior staff. We have Nancy and Keith and Ryan and Hoomer and Larry and Howard, our treasurer, and both of our chiefs, Greg Barton and Chief Stainbrook. They're the engine that makes it go. We help. But really, they're the ones that make our daily lives what they are, and the city as good as it is, as great as it is. And I really think they all deserve a round of applause. So I did a little homework. Along the way, there have only been about 76, not including our 2 to come, 76 council members in the history of the city. And I was surprised. I've actually worked with 9. I did the count. I've worked with 7 different mayors, 2 city treasurers, 4 city managers, 4 police chiefs, 3 fire chiefs, a bazillion commissioners, and amazing staff. That's what made this all come together, all of those, and really we appreciate all of them for all of their hard work. And I know that that will continue into this next iteration of City Council. A particular note, I want to call out Rocky and Amy and Alicia and Adrian and Jessica. These are the people, my executive assistant, our executive assistants. And for 13 years, they managed to juggle God knows how many schedules and get me to the right place pretty much on time, every time. It's a monumental task. I don't think AI could do it. And I thank them for having done it. And one of the things I discovered probably late in my career, I think John discovered it a little bit earlier, sorry, that didn't come out right. Just how important our neighbors, our region is to us. You know, in this last 4 years, I spent much more time, and in this last year, a lot of time, working with the cities that surround us. And what's happened is our borders are not what they used to be. Once upon a time, there was a border that was Beverly Hills, and everybody knew that was Beverly Hills, and what was ever on the other side was on the other side. But that's not true anymore. The borders are porous, and the problems of the cities flow into each other. And so the issues of crime, know no borders. The issues of homelessness and of mental illness, addiction, opiate overdoses. All of these are really problems that are bigger than any one city. And no one city, even if they wanted to, could cure them because they keep going back and forth. And so I'm really thankful for the partnership of all of the cities that surround us. You've heard from some of them tonight, members of the West Side COG. I appreciate the partnership of all of those electeds. I'm appreciative of the partnership from our state and federal partners. I'm especially thankful for the support of Supervisor Horvath and the county. They've been very helpful for us. And also, too, I've been proud to serve on contract cities, independent cities. These are groups of cities that come together to solve common problems. And they've all been great partners in all that we do, and I'm thankful for that. And also along the way, we've discovered something. I think the tragedy in Gaza has amplified it. But we have really discovered that we have a place in the world. That our voice in Beverly Hills is not that of a small local city, but really an amplified voice that gets heard well beyond our boundaries and beyond the boundaries even of the United States. And so when we come together in support of Israel, when we do things like have the flags out there, this is something that represents partnership, really, with the international community. And I've been pleased over the course of the last little bit. I've actually met with a number of the consul generals that either reside here or work with us, and they love the fact that Beverly Hills can and will be a partner. I think that going forward, we're going to see an expansion of that, and there's some thought that we could even have a meeting of the consul generals here in Beverly Hills. That's something we're going to work on, just because they see us as important in the world scheme, and the fact that using our reputation, our brand, amplifies the message that they want to produce. And in the world of thank yous, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, the public. We're fortunate as a city that our public is engaged. We don't always, I know sometimes you don't like things that we've done, and sometimes there are debates and disputes and whatever, but at the end of the day, an informed public is the ultimate basis of a democracy. In the absence of an informed public, there is no democracy. And so, without your participation, without your understanding of what's going on, without your questioning what it is that's happening here and elsewhere, the democracy would just vanish. And so I thank you for that. You challenge us. And hopefully in that, you make us better at what we do. I want to reflect that this job 13 years later is very different than it was 13 years ago. I have to admit it almost doesn't resemble what it was. In the beginning, it was really an opportunity for us to reflect our city. We did ribbon cuttings, we did events, we kissed babies, we did all the kinds of things that you would think that small town cities, council members and mayors did. But over this time, with the pandemic, with the national issues in the social legal system and social justice, again with the opiate epidemic, homelessness, we are doing a different job. We are doing a different job today than mayors in the past have done. And that's probably a good thing, because much as we don't like the conflict of those issues, we are maturing as a city. We are growing as a city. And I think that for the good or for bad, my prediction is that this is going to continue. That our next council will see, they'll see issues that we haven't conceived of. They'll certainly see the issues we have and hopefully move them forward, advance them, and make things better. But I have no doubt that what comes next is going to be very different than what we've seen. And I think that perhaps too is just the natural course. Maybe the natural course of history, just as people evolve, cities evolve, they're organic, they change. So to our new council, I wish you well when it comes to that. I'm sure you'll know. I'm sure you'll know what's headed your way. I want to congratulate both Mayor Wells and Craig Corman on their election to the council. I agree that there are great additions to the council, to Vice Mayor Nazarian on her soon-to-be election as Vice Mayor. John, the longest-standing council member in the history of the city, keep up the good work. And of course, Lester, my friend Lester, the new Sindaco. And for those who don't know, that's Italian for mayor. It's a long story, we'll tell you another time. I actually have lots of thoughts, but I've decided that I'm going to save most of those for the Netflix miniseries. It'll be airing in about 6 weeks or so, and you'll be able to catch it then. That's a joke. But just to be sure, that's a joke. So, in the category of head scratchers, how does stuff like this happen? The first is this. A nice Jewish boy from Queens lands up as the mayor of Beverly Hills. I don't think there's a book that does, maybe there's a book in this somewhere, but I don't know how I got here. It's one of those things that I just sort of did. I can't imagine being in a better place. And I have to say that I've truly loved serving this community. And I hope to find ways to do other things in the future. And with that, the second head scratcher, which is, in my life, I never thought I would quote this man. And I'll bet most of you are going to get the quote wrong. But I'm about to quote Muhammad Ali. And it has nothing to do with butterflies or bees. But Muhammad Ali said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." I think that's well said. It is the rent we pay for our time on earth. I've been happy, very happy to serve in that role. I thank you again for being here this evening. Thank you.
First gift is the plaque of the city of Beverly Hills inscribed as Julian Gold, MD, our mayor, as well as a smaller plaque showing the same. And now, the swag. So we have from our police department a cap, or a sweatshirt. Let's see if we can get the sweatshirt out. With a hood. And then there are other items in there, including a coin, etc., for you to use in your spare time.
Thank you.
In the next door, we have from our fire department a plaque showing their appreciation with a hat and emblem, and also to Dr. Julian Gold.
Thank you.
And here we have repeat now. We have Brooke, who, by the way, interesting story. Everybody knows my UCLA connection. Brooke happens to be one of the. Give me the comment. What is it? She's on the dance team. So when I'm at Center Court doing my thing, Brooke is there on the dance floor. We wave at one another. But anyway, so she is now bringing. You need to swap jobs. So for our Public Works Department, a street sign with Dr. Gold Drive from 2011 through 2024. And from our city clerk, a non-touchable crystal gavel for you to use on your desk. And finally, the key to the city, which is very rarely given. Honored to have both Councilmember Fossey and Mayor Gold, our key to the city. So thank you very much, and you get to go to your seat.